As you all know, I do love makeup, but as much as I love makeup, I also have a deeper passion for skincare. So I encourage you to check out some of my previous videos on how I remove all of my makeup, as well as some of the masks that I apply to keep up with the overall care of my skin. So now that my face is clean, I'm going to be going in with the moisturizer, and the moisturizer that I'm going to be featuring is by the COVERGIRL Mattifying Oil-Free Moisturizer. I do have very oily skin, so something that is mattifying is a critical and a must, especially being that I have very long days and my makeup, sometimes I wear my makeup anywhere from 12 to 16 hours. So me starting off with a fresh mattifying moisturizer kind of like is a must, and it also acts as a primer, creating that perfect base for my makeup to go on. So I pretty much dove in the product. It's kind of hard to see with the camera being that the packaging is white, but the COVERGIRL Oil-Free Mattifying Moisturizer is like a clear pink moisturizer, and it goes on very smooth, and it pretty much blots out all the oil and also minimizes my pores. This product right here I got from Walgreens. I got this on clearance. They don't too much make this product anymore, but I got it on clearance for like $4.99. They were buy one, get one 50% off. They had like 4 on the shelf, and I coupled that with some coupons. So I was able to get 4 jars during that haul. Then I hauled another 4 jars. So I have a total of 8 jars in my arsenal because I do happen to love this moisturizer. It works well, it works wonders, and it just creates that perfect base for my makeup to go on. And best of all, I don't even have to apply a primer. I still do use makeup primers, but using this product right here, I don't have to go in and apply a primer. So now that my makeup, my moisturizer has been applied, I'm going to be going in with my first foundation. If you have been following my channel, you all know that I love to use 2 foundations. I use one in the T-zone, which is the lighter shade, and the ones on the outer skirts, I go in with the darker shade, because looking at my skin is not all one complexion. It's 2 different tones, so me using 2 separate foundations creates that look that I'm going for. And this foundation that I'm going to be using is by the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop in the color Cappuccino. I'm going to apply this in my T-zone. This is a 14-hour wear mattifying foundation. Again, I am an oily skin glam, so mattifying products is a must for me when it comes to keeping the shine down and minimizing those pores. So I have my e.l.f. makeup brush, and I'm going to dispense an amount on the edge of the brush. And one thing I like about this e.l.f. makeup brush, you all, it's kind of like a spatula. So when I apply the product on, I can pretty much go in and smooth it right on my face as such. So I'm applying it on my T-zone, chin, and forehead areas. And as you all see, I got all of the product off of that. Now, I love this foundation brush. I was previously using Mary Kay, which I still do, but this e.l.f. brush has been giving me life. It helps glide the makeup on smooth, and I'm also able to blot in on some areas where I want to maximize that coverage. And the best thing I like about this foundation, you all, is look how it provides that coverage. That coverage is superb, especially to blot out all my imperfections and my discolorations that I do have on my skin. This foundation right here works wonders, and it gets the job done. So this is the first shade. This is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation in the shade Cappuccino. And guess what, you all? I picked this foundation up for $2 from my local Walmart. This foundation regularly runs anywhere from $15 to $17 depending on your location. I was in my local Walmart, found this on the shelf for $2. They had a total of 3 bottles, so I paid $6 for all 3 bottles of the foundation. Now, the second shade that I'm going to be using on the outer skirts is going to be by the Maybelline. Again, another drugstore, very first-friendly product. This is the Matte Mousse. And again, the reason why I do like this product, because the keyword matte is in there. So if it has matte, I'm all over it, because it helps with the, again, sealing of the oil, keeping my makeup fresh and maximize that staying power throughout the day. I do work in a prison, and the elements here also in South Carolina, with also just with the weather and the line of work that I do need something that's going to maximize my staying power to keep that fresh stay all day. So again, I'm going to take my spatula, and again, I like the spatula because I'm able to scoop some product out. Now, one thing with the mousse, you got to be careful because sometimes it does beat up and little beads will fall out over the place, so you got to be careful with that. But I just scooped a little bit on the I call it the spatula, but the makeup brush, and I'm just gonna glide on the face, glide it on. Now, being that I glid most of the product on this side, I'm just gonna take my makeup brush and fill in on the other areas where I don't have any of this mattifying foundation. Well, it's not technically a foundation, it's a mousse. And this mousse I do love. It's very smooth, it's very creamy, lightweight, and it provides superb maximum coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this in. And I like to press first with the brush to kind of like get it in the skin, and then I go in and blend from where I had my last foundation that I applied with the NYX. And look how that oxidizes really well, you all. I'm loving how this makeup is coming all together. The coverage to me is superb, and it's really making my skin look effort and very flawless. So I'm going to blend this out on the sides of my forehead, and notice I'm not really gliding. I'm just pretty much blotting in and letting the brush do the blending and do the work itself. I do not like beauty blenders. I have bought some on clearance, and I read the reviews. Some of them were pretty good, but to me the blender did not give the desired effect. It seems to me that the blenders absorbed a lot of the product, but with the brushes it helps blend it and helps keep most of the product on your face. So I encourage you to check out your local drugstores, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS's, Targets. Look on their clearance aisle. You'll be surprised at some of the deals that you're able to find. I normally go on a daily basis. The staff in each one of those stores know me by heart. I utilize my lunch breaks to see what they have. And if I find something that's on a steal, I'm just going to grab it. So check out my shorts. My shorts have a lot of quick in and out videos when I'm in the store just to see what they have. And if they have something that's at the rock bottom price, especially if I could couple it with a coupon, I will swipe the shelf with it. All right, so now that my foundation has been applied, I'm going to be going in with some concealers. Same way I do my foundations with the 2 different shades, I also have 2 separate shades of the concealer. And that's another reason why too I also buy my makeup on clearance and at rock bottom prices, because I use multiple shades on my face to get the desired look that I'm going for. So the 2 shades that I'm going to be going in is by the number 70 and number 50. These are the Maybelline Superstay concealers. I absolutely do love the Maybelline Superstay line. I have their foundations, I have some of their pressed powders, and I also have their concealers. These are my staple go-to. It's better than the Maybelline Fit Me in my opinion. So I'm going to take number 57, and I also have shades lighter as well as darker than the ones that are shown on camera, because one thing about concealers, you can always blend and go in a little bit darker or go in with a little bit lighter and blend it out to give you that desired look. And I'm going to take this lighter shade, go up under my eyes, down my nose, my forehead, chin, and my eyelids, because my eyelids are a little bit on the darker side, so that helps hide some of the pigment, the hyperpigmentation on my eyelids. So again, I'm just taking that same brush and I'm just blending in. And notice that I am dabbing, and as I'm dabbing, it's just blending out to the desired coverage that I want. And I use the lighter shades up under my eyes and in the T-zone because it go ahead and creates that some form of highlight to where I don't have to do a whole lot of highlighters. And I have clearance some highlighters in my clearance hauls, but this method right here helps with me getting that highlight glow effect that I do desire. Again, just dabbing on the chin and Cupid's bow area and on the forehead. And notice how all the shades are coming in together. Look how flawless the application is. It's very flawless, very natural, and it's also very lightweight. I don't feel like it's cakey or masky. It's very lightweight, and for me to say that in this South Carolina heat and also in the line of work that I do, that is phenomenal. So blending with makeup is very, very critical to get all the areas that you're looking to enhance and mask. So now that I applied that lighter shade of concealer, I'm going to be going in with number 57, correction, number 70, which is this nice rich tone right here. And I'm going to apply that and do a little bit of contouring. All right, so notice how with this concealer right here, I'm able to contour my face, and it's a light contour. It's not a heavy contour, which is one of the things I do like, because I want to define my cheeks. Like this already gave me some form of heightenedness in my cheeks and giving me that little bit of that cheekbone raise without it being so defined where it still looks natural. Because I want to have the appearance of wearing makeup, but I don't want to have the appearance that I'm too masky or too flashy. So I have another e.l.f. brush, and this is their putty bronzer brush right here. And I'm going in, and again, just using the dabbing effect to dab the darker shade of concealer in. And I'm really dabbing in along my cheekbone when I get my smile on the side of my nose. Just dabbing it until it starts to blend to my desire. And look, when I smile, you see how it already raises the cheekbone. It gives me that little bit of raise. So I use this technique so when I go apply my blush, it already has that effect that I'm going for. I'm down here on my chin area. Again, just chiseling to get that chiseled look, to get a narrower nose as well as a raised cheekbone, and to narrow that chin some. The highlighting and the contouring effect with the concealers makes a difference. Now I'm going in on the forehead. And these products oxidize so well, so when I go back to blend in, it's really not a hard thing for me to do because they've already oxidized so well. And look, lambs, look how effortless that is. I mean, everything just blends so perfectly. And best of all, it is mattifying. All the products that I'm using are super stay. They're mattifying to help with the shine and the oil that does come with me being an oily skin glam. And I do also perspire because of not only the South Carolina heat, but also because I am premenopausal, so I do be getting the hot flashes. So it is waterproof and sweat proof, which helps keeps that staying power. So now that I applied my concealers and my foundation, I'm going to be going in with a setting powder. Setting powders are a must. That is a must to keep everything in, to keep everything like you want it to without it gliding and sliding and all that. Setting powders is a must. And I have 3 separate setting powders. The first one I'm going to be going in with is by the Wet n Wild. This is the Wet n Wild loose setting powder. I do love this powder. I got this powder on, it wasn't on clearance, it was on sale at Walgreens for $4. But I love it so much that this is my staple go-to powder. So I will be purchasing this powder again, even if it's not on clearance, because Wet n Wild products are already very purse friendly to start with. So I don't have to wait till they get to the rock bottom price to be able to swipe those products on the shelf. So I have a little bit of product in the lid as well as in the jar itself, but I'm going to take the product out of the lid and I'm going in with another, this is not an e.l.f. brush, but this is my Mary Kay setting brush. The handle fell off, but hey, it still works the wonder. So I'm taking the brush and putting it in the powder. And I'm going to tap off the excess, and notice I am pressing that powder into the skin because I want to get that baking effect. Pressing it directly into the skin. Definitely want the baking effect on the nose, because where I mainly get my most oil is on my nose, forehead, and the chin area. So I definitely make sure I put enough powder in those areas. And this is the lightest shade of the one that I'm going in with to help with the baking effect. And I'm going to take a little bit more to go over my eyelids to get that effect that I want when it comes to me applying my eyeshadow. Me baking those eyelids as well helps with the first off with the pigmentation of the eyeshadows, because sometimes the eyeshadows come on a little bit powdery, being that I am a darker skin glam. So being that I do go ahead and prep my eye by putting concealers and setting powders over it, it helps that color and that pigmentation shine a little bit more better. And that is with the lighter shade in the Wet n Wild loose setting powder. Again, a staple go-to drugstore product. I love, love, love this product. The next powder I'm going to be going in with, this one is by the COVERGIRL. It has a dollar sticker on there that tells you that that's what I paid for the product. It was regularly priced at almost $8. I paid $1 for it. And this is a loose mineral setting powder in the shade Tan. It is a lighter shade, but I do like it, and it was $1. So I buy all sorts of shades in my makeup due to the fact that I can blend them out and get it to the desired color that I want. And I have some in the lid, and I'm just going to take it and apply it on the outer skirts using the same brush. And again, the dabbing effect. I use the dabbing effect, shaking off the excess. And last but not least, the powder that I'm going to be going in and doing my little bit of contouring with is the darkest shade. And this is by the COVERGIRL Outlast Press Powder in the shade Cappuccino. I have a matching foundation to go along with this, but I absolutely do love this powder. It is Outlast. It is a full coverage mattifying oil absorbing powder. And I go in and I apply this powder like a contour, like I did with the darker shade when I was contouring with the concealers. So I like to take my magnifying mirror for this one and go up the bridge of my nose. Under my cheekbones. Again, just doing in those same areas that I did for my contour. And I dab lightly in the product. I am dabbing very lightly. I'm not heavy-handed because I don't want it to be super dark, because it is the darkest shade that they had. And even though I'm not that shade, I try to make sure that I'm not heavy-handed to give that effect that I want. I'm going in, and this is another e.l.f. brush right here. This is a contour brush, and it works wonders. I like to go in right here because my nose tends to get oily in this area right here. So I like to go in and make sure that I'm putting that powder in that area. And normally when I first apply my makeup, which is early in the morning around 5 o'clock, I don't have to normally do any touch-ups till around 10, 11, which is good because that's already about 5-6 hours before I even have to touch up. And depending on how my day is going, at the prisons here in South Carolina, that tells you how my face could be looking by 12 if I'm not able to touch up. So these products right here help combat against the oil and also increase that staying power.